Welcome to the live stream of consciousness. The live stream of consciousness is on a quest to unravel the mysteries of existence. Every episode, we ask the fundamental question, what is consciousness? Is consciousness merely a product of our brains, or does it connect us to something greater? Explore the very fabric of our thoughts. Don't miss a moment. Expand your awareness and tap into the boundless potential that resides within you. Welcome to the live stream of consciousness.
Yes, welcome to the live stream of consciousness. You made it. I made it. We're here together. I'm Michael Zinn, and this is my happy place. It has been for the last couple of years. Every Thursday, I go live at 9 o'clock Eastern time and have a great conversation. Most of the time, it's with a guest. Sometimes they don't show up, and it's just with you guys and whoever happens to be around. But tonight, I'm super excited because I have an amazing guest who I feel like the way we met and his vibe embodies this show. The whole idea of, we are all connected, and everything is energy, and the energy, being aware of the energy you put out, because he's totally connected to the energy he's putting out. And I'm excited for you guys to meet him. But what is up, people? I just want to say hello. I see Hat Pauser out there. I see Grace Grella out there watching on both platforms. I love it when you do that. Thank you so much. That helps. Share the show right now. I think if you're on a stream, you could hit share, and that will also help. And as a matter of fact, that's part of the story with tonight's guest. I'll tell you a little bit about how that happened. I see Janice out there. What's up, baby? Everybody is chilling. I'm happy to see everybody. So before I bring on my guest, the story is, I was just sitting there and on Instagram, and something pops up, says Peacetribe has gone live. And I don't know, it sounded familiar. I know I must have connected with it somehow. And I click it, and this guy comes on, and he's full of this amazing energy. And it says on his feed, if you want to come join me. And I am all about that. This platform, when used to connect people together, is so powerful, rather than used for dividing people and hate and all of that and spreading those kinds of messages. So I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to go live. And I clicked the button, and almost instantly he brought me on live, and it was like an immediate connection of energy. He had such a great energy of love and peace and connecting people. And we just spoke. I talked about the live stream of consciousness a little bit, and so he got excited, I got excited, and here he's going to be on my show tonight. So I can tell right now that I'm already babbling, right? That's the point where I usually introduce the guest. But it's exciting. It's really great to encounter people, your tribe, right? They say your vibe will what's the word I'm saying? Affect. It's not affect. To attract, your vibe will attract your tribe. That's the word I was looking for. So that's what's happening tonight. We're going to double the vibe. We're going to attract more tribe. So again, if you guys like what you see, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. And without further ado, welcome to the live stream of consciousness, Stewart Marriott. What's happening, Stu?
Hey, how's it going, Michael? Thank you for that elaborate and lovely introduction. Definitely, your tribe. Your vibe attracts your tribe. That's for sure. 100%. You said it
Totally.
very well.
Totally. And I think the important thing, and something that I think I relate to with you, is that knowing that your vibe attracts your tribe, right, helps you become more intentional with your own vibe, right? Because now you're like, oh shoot, I want to attract the right people. I got to be what I want to see. I've got to be what I want to attract. So it's really like kind of it forces you to up your game when you know that. So totally. That's great.
Totally.
Cool. Well, I'm super excited that you said yes to come on the show. I can't wait to talk about what you do and give you the floor to help spread your message and everything you're trying to do. But since you did come on the show, you got to answer some of my questions before we get going.
Okay.
And There's some of my favorite questions because there's no wrong answer, and
Okay.
I feel like every answer I get just kind of adds on to the collective answer. So
Love it.
the basic question is, what is consciousness? What are we even talking about?
Man, that's such a good question. Consciousness. Oh my gosh. It gets into like, I guess, the reticular activating system, cognition, all sorts of the hemispheres of the brain, as well as tapping into esoteric. I mean, that's such a complex question. I don't even know. And I drowned in a pool one time when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and my spirit left my body, and I saw my body down in the deep end of a pool in Texas.
Oh
And
wow.
I saw that from 15 feet in the air. Yet I still can't explain consciousness, but I do know my entire life flashed before my face. I heard fire engines, and I just saw my body down. It was
Wow.
just buddy. We were in a deep end. We were told not to go in the deep end, and of course, we just couldn't resist it.
Of
And
course.
just make it back to this. We were just sort of dog paddling or whatever, and then I just went glug 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 down to the bottom, and then the mom
Wow.
like sandwiches or whatever, and then he obviously told his mom, and then I don't remember much else other than just seeing my body from up 15 feet. So in answer to what is consciousness, I know that I was still conscious, but I wasn't in my body.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
perspective that I guess is unique to only a few people who have almost died on surgery tables or car
Mhm.
crashes or
Mhm.
attempted suicides. I don't really know what kind of category you could put people in like me, but I was able to now understand I'm more than just this physical frame, and I think that did frame the rest of my thought process with everything, with creation, with all the creative things I've been involved in. I think that one experience did shape how I see consciousness or cognition
Mhm.
dramatically.
Mhm. Awesome. No, that's great. And I know sometimes that question does seem overwhelming. Like, well, how am I going to answer that question? Right? There's so many levels and so many layers to that question. But that's a great answer. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And I love the way you said, like, you weren't in your body, but you were still conscious. So there was that aspect. Consciousness is an aspect of you, right? That's not
Right.
a physical
Oh,
aspect. Yeah.
100%. Plus, I've done like 40 days of fasting before on lemon water, maple syrup, and I was still getting like 3,000 calories a day, but zero solid
Mhm.
food on a journey
Wow.
to try to cure my asthma at the time. It didn't work to cure myself of asthma. I ended up doing a liver cleanse 12 times, like 10 years after that. In my mid 30s, that actually cured me of
Mhm.
asthma. I did a long
Oh,
journey just by myself in my home. I bought my first home on a private island in Miami when I was after being homeless and doing a lot of Versace campaigns and other. I just worked a lot after I was homeless. Bought my
mhm.
first house at 23 on a private island in North Miami Beach, north of South Beach. And that's when I could just do what I wanted. So I told my agent, look, I'm going to do 40 days on this. Don't book me for no jobs. I just want to try and meditate, pray. And that's what I did for 40 straight days in my house on a private, I don't know, walking around a golf course. So there's different levels of consciousness I was able to get to in that experience as well, that
Wow.
it's hard to talk to. If you tell people about it, they think you're crazy, or they haven't had the experience. They don't. It's like hard to kind of like tit for tat with it. But if you've ever
Right.
tried that, you're not going to die on proof of it. You can Google it. There's been thousands of people that do it. It's called the
Mhm.
master.
Mhm.
Did it with the huge, larger caloric intake. And yeah, I mean, I went on a different journey on that. I didn't have to do. I've never done drugs. I happen to be Mormon, so I've never done drugs. I've never drank. Didn't do the cocaine,
Mhm.
champagne, any of that.
Mhm.
I never
Wow.
did naked cigarette or alcohol campaigns either. Still made a lot of money every year. Not as much as the girls. That's where it's like, can the men just get equal pay as a supermodel? To Cindy Crawford, where's the equal pay, man? I was working just as hard as the girls.
You know,
That's
I didn't want to embarrass you. I did do a little research, and I did see a bunch of modeling pictures, but I didn't gather them together to bring them up on screen.
okay.
Uh,
Next time,
but you
man. Next time.
you were kind of almost like there was like a fitness aspect, right, to your modeling. I mean, you were like an
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I did the Speedo campaign for the world. I mean, it was a point there where any guys, if they went up against me for something that was a physical, like a body thing, because I was a competitive gymnast, so I could do all
Mhm.
like double backflips and I could do one arm handstands. I could do all this crazy stuff in the physical. Plus, I was on par with all the other. I don't think I was in better shape than anybody. I just had
Right.
like this extra weird X factor where if a
That was
photographer
an
wanted,
advantage. Yeah.
yeah, so it kind of did give me an advantage. Plus, I was Mormon and I wasn't hitting on the girls. And I will say this is the secret part of the fashion business that people don't understand. So a straight man as a photographer will always shoot what they like. If it's a straight man, they'll shoot like women.
Right.
Get a gay, straight, whatever. But a gay man that wants to seek men will shoot men. A straight
Right.
man will shoot women. You usually
Right.
shoot like your preference is to not oversimplify it. But so for me, I would shoot with these very straight men photographers that they were always like, okay, how do I, pull the chick? And then that's, I'm just kind of blowing the lid off the business here for a second.
I got you. Yeah.
So I was like an inert object because it was like this Mormon guy, he's not going to hit on the girl. So I would literally go to private islands for 2-3 weeks sometimes and take maybe 6 or 7 pictures as a prop and come back with 50 grand just to be a prop.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were taking pictures with a lot of the girls because they knew you were safe. You were not going to hit on them.
And I never did. So I was like a good.
Yeah, I think that says a lot about your character. You know what I mean? And I think that's really important. That's to me, that's the most important thing is what that represents. And that's the character. So I do want to talk about you and all of that stuff and your journey and how you got to where you're at and the great thing that you're doing right now. But I do have the second part of that question, and you may have started the answer. I don't know if that was the experience, but the question I usually ask is, if you have a specific moment that you remember or experience where you kind of realized there was more to existence than just the physical, right? So, and maybe it was that NDA, that NDE, near death experience. Maybe it was that NDE that you had. Is that when you realized that was the moment for you?
I would say no, because I was so young. I was 6. So that's a tough one. Say that one more time so I can absolutely understand.
So like just the moment that you realized, wait a second, you know what I mean? I'm taught that, we're these physical 3D beings and we've got to eat, sleep, and, whatever. And that's all that there is, and then it's over. Right. So, again, at the NDE, you said you realized there was more to you, right? Because you weren't in your physical body. But I don't know, maybe you didn't realize it because you were so young and you just knew something was up. And then later you made the connection.
That's right. So later I made that connection when I was remembering having had drowned, and I was remembering that, and I was asking my dad about it. And they said that they didn't want to tell. My parents had never told me I drowned because the neighbor never actually told my parents. I remembered it when I was 19, and I called my dad. And I said, hey, I drowned one time. Do you know that? And he goes, no, I never knew that. And I said, well, I showed him on a map where the house was because I could remember it. I could draw a picture of the pool. Even right now, I can draw a picture of the whole house, the street, the pool, everything that I can remember when I was 6 or 5. And then I told him, this is my friend. And he called the lady and she picked up, and I was 19. And my dad said, hey, did my son drown in your pool? And she said, oh, yeah, he did. We were so scared because your last name's Marriott, and my family had started the Marriott hotels, and they didn't want him to be sued by the Marriotts. And so that's when it was just one of those things where I don't know how she got away with that. I don't know, but she did.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So at that point, obviously I didn't understand, but when I was around 19, I was remembering it. And that's when I verified it with my dad, called the lady, and then she told my dad she didn't want to be sued by our family. And then that's when I started more giving it cognition, and I started thinking, okay, yeah. But all my whole childhood, I would see my hands, and after that had happened, I would be walking and I'd see my hands, and I would look at it and think, this is not really me. I just knew that this was like a shell for what's actually. That sound. I mean, it would hit me in different moments, real hard, like if you have deja vu or something.
Right.
One of those really weird moments where you're looking at your hands, and all of a sudden you feel. This is not truly you, if that makes any sense. So
absolutely, no, 1,000,000%. I was going to say earlier when you said you can't talk about certain things, this is the place to do it because there's nothing strange here. Listen, it's infinite possibilities, right? There's infinite answers to all of these things.
Yeah, I literally could not more fully agree. I'm still mad at my original science teacher that taught me protons, neutrons, and electrons. and valence electrons that go on these very specific valence rings around the nucleus.
Mhm.
Total bull crap. That is not true. There's quarks, there's subatomic particles. You can take an atom, split it, put it 1,000 miles away, heat it up. The other one gets hot too, make it go in a magnetic direction. The other one happens to. You can do that with bunny rabbit. You can do with, you can do it.
Well,
with
don't get mad at your teacher. He probably was just telling you what
No,
he
I'm
was
mad.
taught.
I'm mad. I'm a peace moving guy. I'm pissed, man. You're not gonna talk me off the ledge. No,
That's
I'm
so
just being.
funny.
Yeah, well said. I think we were all lied to, and I'm also mad that I know the heart has a larger magnetic field than the brain, and that
Mhm.
ancient warriors would kill you and eat your heart, but they never ate your brains because the brain isn't centric. Ancient cultures
Right.
knew the heart is centric. When you get a
Right.
heart transplant, you have different thoughts you didn't normally have. You may have been a
Mhm.
rock and roller, and now you're into jazz, and it's just like diametrically opposed. And you don't even know who you are anymore because you have a different heart. That's having to be black labeled now. There's a lot we don't know. So I would
Right.
definitely say in a world of consciousness that there's a absolute infinite world of possibilities in the macro and the micro that we
Yeah.
are absolutely clueless about. But it excites me. I mean, really excites me. So.
Me too. Me too. Well, that's why I started this show, because I love these conversations. It's great. And I saw Jesse Howe stop by. I don't know if he's still out there, but he's got a great show, and we were having a great conversation on his show the other day about some similar stuff. But that's why I knew it was going to be great to talk to you, because the idea of what's going on, the way you're seeing most people communicate, and the ideas and how they're being expressed is so specific, and there's such an energy to it. But then, you're like I said, when I ran into your broadcast on Instagram, it was you just felt the energy. It was just, there was so much love there was so much openness. Same thing, like I said, not that I'm pushing Jesse Howe tonight, but he does these like dance things where he's just live and he's just dancing to some music, and you can join and come on screen and you can dance too, and it's like it becomes a dance party, and then they have like an open forum, and people talk about what their beliefs are, and
Hey man, we can
kind
do
of
that right now if you want. We can do the stinky leg right here. We can just hit some music, man. We can do that. We can still do that. Don't think we can't do that.
Nice. I'll tell Jesse to send you an invite when he does those open panels, and join in. It's really so great, Stewart, because and we're going to talk about that next, is the whole idea of peace, right? And how that connects to what I do, because the thing that I talk about is how we're all connected to the same energy and the same vibe, and of course, to make that comfortable and happy, everybody's got to kind of be on that same vibe, and bring the same thing to the picture, and intentionally, like I said, bringing peace in the way you are is such a it's I'm sure there's so much ripple effect you feel all the time, right? Just from doing what you're doing.
I'm not gonna lie to you on this show. I get so pumped up every day just on my own. Like, forget, I don't need to like have a force multiplier. I wake up because I've been doing this for 15 years and I still haven't made. I don't profit from it. So that I run the nonprofit. That's not for profit. Our Peace Life. Also, I have a big time investor who's chunked a lot of money in. So I don't take a dime until we see profit on the for profit side. So I'm literally working for free, and I clean pools for 11 hours a day with a pool company. And I do that while I'm on the phone talking about the movie, talking about Peace Life. Say everything's, well, I'm this rich kid with a trust fund, and none of that's actually true. I run a pool company. I clean pools. That's how I found the guy from the rock band Kiss that's going to be on our 4-piece school show. That's how I found a guy stem cell company that I've got referring people for stem cells. I got doctors and lawyers that were cooking me breakfast at my pool because we're having these kind of conversations like this. Like there's one of them that told me about Younger Dryas. You know what Younger Dryas is, or Greater Dryas? It's a time period by a type of moss or a type of a plant called Younger Dryas, which totally reconstructs and deconstructs our entire understanding of history and when the dinosaurs on the timeline when they were extinct. You can read all these books about it. It's found out by a guy from England that was just a curious guy. He's not actually a scientist, and all scientists hate him because he's actually proving them wrong about all their theories and lose their funding and all that kind of stuff. So it's very disruptive when people find the truth. That's why we named our company Antiqua Veritas, ancient truth in Latin, because we're trying to show and expose ancient truth, not in a bad way to hurt, harm, to educate, proliferate, rise all of us, like you said, from the 3 dimensions to wherever we can go in this collective consciousness, to help fire each other up. And candle meets blowtorch, right? And that's in a good way, not in a burn your house down way, in a
no, totally. And I got to tell you something very interesting. Didn't even think about it until now. And it makes me happy to be who I am, which is so cool. I've been like encountering and going through so many different situations that are like adversity in a way, right? They're like sticky situations, and I come out of those situations just feeling like I'm so happy I am who I am, and that I just experienced that because I handled that pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. I mean, give yourself, that's what Bruce Lee says. Never say one negative word about yourself, man. That's where, you're
totally.
Michael Zen. There's no other Michael Zen on this planet, man. There ain't no one else with this live stream consciousness. There ain't no one else doing what you do, brother. That's
no,
you.
totally. And that was, I lost my thought. That wasn't what I was going to say. I was setting myself up to say something. I get so excited in these broadcasts sometimes because of the people that I'm talking to, right? Like, how do you feel right now? You feel good?
Of course, man. Yeah, I feel amazing.
I feel pretty good. How do you guys feel out there? I love this guy. I love the energy. So let's talk about peace, and let's talk about peace life, and let's talk about what you're doing, and how you came about all of that. So I know what I was going to say. Let me back up. I do remember what I was going to say. And this, the reason I was saying I'm happy who I am is because I didn't even think twice when I saw your broadcast and when I saw your last name. Oh, maybe he's related to the Marriott family. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me, right? And no offense, that's in a good way. That's in a good way. It's like, I'm not thinking like, oh, this, that, the other thing. I'm just looking at your vibe and who you are and what you're saying and your message. And like, that's more important to me than the name. You know what I mean? So I didn't even know any of that until just now, that was part of your background.
My grandfather's older brother started. They're sheep herders. They moved to Marriott from England, and then they had the big idea, and it was hot shops. And my grandpa got out of the business at that point, but then his brother's 2 sons are the CEOs, Dick and Bill Marriott. It's actually big shout out to Dick Marriott if you're watching. I invited him to watch the show tonight. It's his 67th, I think, 60. I hope I'm not getting this wrong. 67th or 60 something anniversary with my Aunt Nancy. Congratulations, guys, and on your anniversary. You have so many amazing grandkids and great grandkids. It's not that he's been so successful at the company, obviously, but he's a very great man, and I absolutely look up to him as a mentor.
That's
and
awesome.
Also, Nancy's amazing. So I have some very, very successful and very amazing and compassionate family that have been there in my life through my whole life. So that's just big shout out to my uncle.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's the most important, really, is the energy and the love, that you experience. And it's I can't imagine you growing up around anything other than that. You know what I mean? Just because of who you are. But why don't you tell me, take me through, doing your own businesses and being the entrepreneur side of yourself, and then how that came to a nonprofit, and it seems like you care more about what you're doing, the cause, than money or any profit.
That's true. Yeah, I do have monetary goals, and obviously making a profit is important.
Sure.
An underground bunker here in Vegas that I have to maintain. It's millions of dollars. I have to, I like to tell people I'm an underground bunker. I'm in an apartment complex here in Vegas, so I don't even own property at this phase of my life. After having been a property investor in my 20s and having raised all these different kids and stuff, all the kids are out of the house, so we're in a tiny 2-bedroom apartment, which is perfect for what we've got going on, and we can travel, and it's nice. However, as far as getting into entrepreneurship, I've always been entrepreneurial. I think. I mean, even as a kid, we had a lot of money, but I would still go around selling like these first aid kits, even as a young kid, knocking on doors. I had this idea that everyone should have a first aid kit in the back of their car. And I was so afraid of like mouth-to-mouth resuscitation if I had to do it. So it had this weird mouthpiece where you could do a plastic piece and you didn't have to do actually mouth. I was very funny.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I was very young. I might have been 10 years old, but I was knocking on doors doing that from a young kid. So I guess with the Marriott blood, my dad's an entrepreneur. He has a master's degree in business. Both of my
Right.
uncles have photographic memories, you know, the ones that run Marriott and the REIT side, my Uncle Dick. So a lot of genetic probably propensity towards, and plus I'm ADD and I'm also dyslexic. So I fit the category of someone that would be maybe a creator, I guess. I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
But I just started off, I've always been entrepreneurial. I wrote a 100 dreams list when I was 15, 16 in high school in a blow off class. I was studying to be pre-med, really. I was going to be pre-med, pole vault world champion, or top male model. And that's, I took a class called Career Explorations. This is a blow off class. And that guy came in and I said, look, I'm a millionaire. I'm 30. This is what I did. I read the dreams list. I did everything on the dreams list by 28, whatever, including own a laundromat. He had a successful, lawn maintenance company. Is, you know, very smart guy. He went to, I think, SMU, whatever, graduated with a degree in business. But that guy was a multimillionaire by the time he was 30. And he said, don't put no limits on it. So I literally went home and did it. I was like, okay, here's number one. I'm going to go to the moon on my honeymoon. Number two, I want a house on a private island. Number three, I want to be a top male model. Number four, I want a record deal. Five, you know, and I just had a whole list. I still have it in my fireproof safe. So I literally wrote it and put it away. But then literally when I was in college, I was trying to become pole vault world champion. I couldn't make that last like 16 inches to be a world champion. At least I felt like I couldn't. And I muscle tested. I was very cerebral. So I tested my muscles. My white twitch fibers are fast, but your slow twitch fibers are red. I was very scientific. Myopy, it's like a muscle test to see what I have, fast twitch, slow twitch, because they were saying scientifically you can't turn slow twitch into fast twitch, but you can turn fast to slow. And I was too slow to get the higher height. Didn't have those like wheels. So I thought, oh, dang it. Scientifically, I'm not meant to be. So that's when I decided to be homeless and moved to Miami Beach and just do it. I moved to Vanilla Ice's house on a party on a whim from Dallas with a guy named Tiny. One of my good, he's like, well, I don't know if you said this, African-American man. I don't know how to say this without offending anybody.
And that's fine. That's good. Everything's fair here. That's all good. We know what you're saying. We know what you're saying.
A man called Tiny, 350-pound African-American, really dear friend of mine. We got in the car. We ended up at Vanilla Ice's house at a party. He kicked me out of the party because we were sort of like rivals. I was telling him he was beating up his girlfriend or whatever at the time, and I was threatening him. This is going back before I started Peace Life, so forgive me, guys. I had a really weird and also violent past in Texas. We were all beating each other up, and we were all, you know, just doing weird stuff that way in the 80s. So then I ended up at Vanilla Ice's house, homeless, and then, you know, for 6 months I was homeless on South Beach. Tiny stayed with them, and they went to the Bahamas on his speedboat or whatever. I never saw him again, actually.
Wow.
That's like 30 years ago, right? So I was 23. You know, believe it or not, I had just come off a Mormon mission. I went on a 2-year Mormon mission where I was, you know, doing a service mission, talking about Jesus, helping people for 2 years, which I raised money for, sold my truck, and I did that. So that was almost like a sabbatical from life and a service thing. So that was where I kind of built my spirit, my love of people, my love of serving people. And I paid to go. I mean, no one paid me to go.
Wow.
I paid at 18. So yeah, so it's that set me up, and then all of a sudden I'm homeless, and you know, I had a kind of a falling out with my parents, and then that was that, and then I never, you know, really had much of a relationship until years later with both my mom and my dad. So some different things have gone on and things like that, and then literally 6 months after being homeless, Versace grabbed me. I almost punched him because I was homophobic. I was like, oh, who's this guy? I was very like, I don't know.
Oh my God.
South Beach in the 90s, man. If you weren't there, if you've ever seen like episodes of, who's that, Tubbs and Crockett and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Miami Vice or whatever.
Tubbs and Crockett. Now that's a reference I don't think no podcast is going to have that reference on it.
Tubbs and Crockett. Well, when I was at Vanilla Ice's house, there's Madonna there. He's beating Madonna up. Lenny Kravitz is there. His girlfriend Lisa Bonet's like naked in the pool, and it was a wild scene. And then the bodyguards grabbed me within like 2 hours, and they kicked me out. But you know, Don Johnson's house was the neighbor, and then of course Gloria Estefan was in the front of the complex called Star Island. You know. So anyway, so then I just was homeless for a while, and then my 100 dreams list is in my head. And then this guy named Tloc from The Last Dragon is a black karate guy. Have you ever watched the movie Last Dragon? It has a cult following.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's like the glow.
Yeah. I know. Yep.
You know, talking about Tloc, man. He's such a cool guy. So he was down there, and he was having some tough luck, and he had, you know, film business he was trying to model and stuff, and we were both kind of hanging out and, doing some karate stuff and just, he's such a cool guy. And he prayed for me one night. This, you can't make this up. He prayed for me that everything would go good in my life and that I would have success. And literally next week I met Versace. I did his campaign 2 weeks later, and
Wow.
I worked nonstop for 6 years until I got married.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, that was kind of the beginning of my entrepreneurialism and the beginning of me realizing that what I'd put in my consciousness, it's like, I don't know that phrase where it's like the roosters have come back to nest, or I don't know, whatever that means, negative or
Mhm.
positive. But whatever mental roosters that I had, or however that phrase is, I'm probably paraphrasing it wrong. But
Right.
I think it's usually used in a negative connotation, but it's like the roosters of my thought processes had come back to whatever, to me. In other words,
Right.
my thought I had thought at 15 had all come back to me and had all
Right.
become manifested, really.
Right. But in a good way. Right. Right. Exactly.
A
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very good way, because I had a house on a private island that, guard
That's
gate and
amazing.
flicker. And I'm just thinking, man, I was homeless, and then here I am on a private island. So, and I was
That's
making
such
more
an
money.
amazing story, from going from homeless to being a Versace model, like,
Yeah.
and living on a private island. That's amazing.
Thank you. And good friends with the family still. And I still have other projects I want to do with the Versace family as well. And it does involve private islands. So,
Awesome. Well, I bet that doesn't hurt.
yeah.
That's great. So let's get to your connection with peace, right? So you told us about how your love for people, where your love for people came from in serving people, but now even there's a bigger mission, right, to bring peace between people, right? Because people can't seem to get along all the time, and there seems to be so many reasons, which I don't understand, and I'm sure you don't relate to either, to divide, right? But there's so
Yes.
many reasons to connect. So how did you get into peace as a very specific theme?
So, like, kind of back to the modeling thing, my first place I ever went to was Paris. I went there, immediately tried to find my agent, and there were what's called the Champs-Élysées. We call it in America like a Champs de Ulysse, but it's actually Champs-Élysées if you say it in French, right?
Okay.
So, a non-American, the actual way you say it. So I was near the Champs-Élysées in Paris, and you have, of course, the Plan de Paris, and you don't have the phones back then. You had a map, and it's this spider web, and everything's in francs, and you don't know shit, and you're 20, and you got different currencies, and you can't know up or down. The phones are different. They go boop boop, and they're big and clunky, and I don't know. There's all these different things that are running through your mind. So I was in a bar and I said, "Hey, can I use the phone?" And then the guy's like, "Yeah, sure." And I go down these stairs and I'm down there and I call the agency. "Oh yeah, just go here and here." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm very close. Good." So I come up all excited and I tell the guy, "Thank you so much." And he tells me, "2 songs for the phone, 2 songs for the phone." I'm thinking, yeah, okay, good. Oh, awesome, man. 2 songs for the phone. Thank you, buddy. And I leave. And then I got beat up by everyone in the bar because they're grabbing my backpack. So I have my modeling portfolios all ripped everywhere. I've got a black eye and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, damn it, what is going on? And so I think I was bringing, because I had a violent childhood in Texas. And my parents, God bless them, they used a lot of corporal punishment. They were very violent with us as children and things like that. They put a attraction for violence in me. And so for me, I started seeing, and I was in Paris, and right away I'm in a bar fight. And I don't think I really, that may be a bad example. I mean, I just didn't speak French. He was saying 2 francs for the phone. I didn't even know what the hell he was saying. I thought he was just saying, I don't
Right.
know, really, right? So I was just like blind innocence of a 20-year-old, first time ever out of the country, right? And by myself, right?
Sure, I can
So
imagine. Totally clueless.
yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of learning curves there and stuff, but at the end of the day, I started noticing a pattern where violence was coming and following me, and like I was attracting that, and so I needed to figure out ways to not have that for me not to attract it. And so I started thinking, okay, well, I got to turn inwardly. I'm not a narcissist. I don't think it's someone else's problem. I know it's
Right.
my problem. This is not anyone's problem. It's following me. Because and the other model guys, because you think, well, these guys are gay. There's lots of misconceptions. From my time period, everybody was straight that I knew that was a model. The guys were football players. They were hockey players. They were ripped. They were tough. I'm telling you, there was almost zero gay.
A lot of testosterone. Yeah.
Crazy testosterone, alpha male, lots of narcissism, pull any chick
Wow.
in the, really cool guys to hang out with, that type of thing. So at the end of the day, I'm in this environment, I'm talking to these guys and I'm thinking, have you guys been in fights? And they're like, no, I haven't even been in a single fight. And I'm thinking, okay, something's wrong with me then, because why have I been in over 100 fights back in Texas
Right.
before I was 18? what's going on in my head, what's going on. So that's when I started realizing in my consciousness, okay, I got a lot of work to do in my spirit, in my attraction, in my law of attraction. So I started, exploring. And so I started trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I fix this? So I started exploring meditation. I started exploring I am statements. And so I literally started recording, and I still have it on my other phone. Like if I press play on this other phone I have right here in my hand, I have like 3 phones. I've got this one, and I've got my English phones, right? But if I press play on my positive self-talk, you're going to hear, I am powerful. I am kind. I am loving. I am safe. I am safe. I am secure. So all my insecurities that I had built up from my childhood, I was just reprogrammed, and I would listen to it. And this is where the ADD I just get obsessed with something, and I would just do it to the crazy level, like, sports, whatever, peace, life, whatever I'm doing, I'm obsessed, but I'm also very committed. And it's not a phase. It's not like, oh, this is a 2-week phase. It's like a 15-year phase, right? And a total obsession now, right? Because once I was able to get myself feeling good, I wanted to tell everybody, right? And so that's why I was like, okay, I'm feeling so good now. I'm feeling so reprogrammed. I want everyone to understand that this is coming from a place of kindness, compassion, tolerance, and respect. What I call the 4 pillars of peace. And if you can have that for yourself, you can offer it to others. If you can't find it in yourself, then you just attracting hardness. But sometimes as we measure onto others, it comes back to us. If we're harsh, we get harshness back. And so when I started realizing this, like law of the universe, what I measure comes back. I didn't, and I never was a person who wanted to hurt other people. It was just more alpha male crap, and it's part of the culture. And it's like, prove I'm male dominant. I wasn't like going to hurt people or make them unpretty. It was just like, okay, you give up. We fight before school, after school, not usually during school, but
Oh, I think these are a lot of these kind of principles or things that were shown, like, hey, this is the way you deal with this, or this is what it should be, and I don't think it's your nature, right?
Not mine.
It's it's the possibility is in your nature, right? We talked about infinite possibilities, but it's what you're exposed to and what you're influenced by that brought that out. I just want to interrupt for 1 second. Sorry. When I see new names in the audience, I like to say hello. And I also want to thank Hat Pauser for the share. So Lori Riley, welcome to the live stream. Good to see you here. Thank you for coming. And thank you, Hat, for sharing. So anyway, continue with this. And it's funny that you say that, because not funny, but most of the people that I know with the most light have come through a lot of dark. You know what I mean? So the violent stuff that you're telling me it's like surprises me, because you don't seem that way now, but I'm like, that explains it. Grace Grella says you changed your frequency. Exactly.
And my dad don't seem that way either, but the combination of my dad and my mom, who are no longer married, created this type of violence. And my dad, since then, he's not that way. And my mom, once I don't know what to compare it to and to be polite, but if you've ever seen serial killers that get together and kill, I mean, that's obviously an extreme example. My wife's obsessed with watching different serial killer stuff. I don't know, like crime. So now I know all the stuff about crime and all that. So if I ever get killed, by the way, she'd probably poison me.
She's learned how to do it.
We're always joking about it, right? Like if I see a white oleander plant, I'm like, oh no, stay away from that.
You got to watch the shows with her, so you know the signs and all the tricks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start. That's exactly it. So, but at the end of the day, it's like they were like that match together, and they sort of like were into corporal punishment together. I don't know how that happened, but it wasn't a great thing. And I have a sister that kind of took a lot of the emotional abuse, and I took the physical personally. And I'm an older brother of 6 kids, so there's a lot of us in that little tribe, and so I kind of become the defender of kids,
right?
And I was like, kind of like stopped bullies from bullying in high school. I was like the anti-bully guy. But now I just want to work in this other space, which is all mental. It's all cerebral. It's all kindness to bullies. We're not anti-bully. We're not against bullies. Right. We're for peace. Right. If that makes sense. We're not for taking down the bully, because I think I did a post about this today, because I was seeing it, and it's I'm trying to look on my other phone while we're talking so I can find it, because as I know I did post something, but yeah, here it is. It's so you're looking at fight racism, right? So I don't know, I'm probably not doing this good, but it's like fight racism, right? So and I put on here, we're not fighting anyone. We reject the fight idea. we are just colorblind, and we are simply for peace. We're
Yeah.
colorblind for peace, man. We don't need to fight racism. I mean,
Right.
what's the fight?
That's that's an amazing example of language being used in a way, a very manipulative way, right? I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
like,
I agree.
I mean, and right when you put it up and you said, look, it's fight racism, like, holy crap, like, what is that? Like, there's the programming in the words,
It gets into xenophobia, right? It's like, who are we going to fight? Who needs to get fought in this picture? Does the black guy need to fight the white guy? Does the white guy how about this? And I've heard, I was a break dancer, man. I know, I hung out with the brothers, man. I was like the only white guy in the whole crew every time. We slayed each other in battles. We would do it at the roller skating rink every weekend, and it was just like rap music, brothers. And it was never a thing. And I never ever saw color, and I don't think they saw me as white.
Right.
But you got people like Lawrence Fishburne and some other black men that will say, look, can we just stop talking about color? Can we just stop it and say, I'm a man and you're a man? I'm not a black man. I'm not a white man. I'm not a Chinese man.
I'm a human.
Stop it. We're just human. Yeah, we're human. And that's where, I think the media understands, and they know if they can get people riled up and mad about something, they can control. Peace life's not about that. We're not riled up. We're not mad. We're focused on ourselves. We're focused on the pillars of peace: kindness, compassion, tolerance, and respect for ourselves. When we have that, we can extend it to others. We're not mad at other people, I think someone's commenting, Mother Teresa. Is that maybe one of your people? But
Hat Pauser says Mother Teresa said she wasn't interested in an anti-war rally, but would attend a pro-peace rally. So again, the idea of the language being anti anything is, you don't want to be anti anything, because that is what war is, right?
You nailed it. And Hat or whoever just made that comment, that is actually where I get the idea from, Mother Teresa. Just so you know,
that's amazing. So
it came from Mother Teresa. So
Stu, I'm going to give you an idea right now, right, or a thought, because I just thought of it here live on the live stream of consciousness. And that is what we just said, right? So you said, oh, a black man, a white man, and I said, no, we're all human, right? But what is hue?
A color.
What is hue?
Right?
Hue is the spectrum of color, right? So we're all human. That's amazing.
What are you doing? What are you doing right now, man? You're working your magic on us right now.
I just, you know what? It just came through as we were talking. So that's you and me, brother.
That's synergy, bro. You can't. It's 1 + 1 = 1,000,000 right there, bro. It's 1 + 1 = 10,000,000 right there.
Amazing. So put that on a shirt and just give me, 2%.
Okay. Verbal contract.
Awesome. No, but I again, that was part of what attracted me to your broadcast. It wasn't just like, ooh, I want to get on and promote my broadcast. I was like, what is this all about?
By the way, I'm totally cool with that. I got zero dog.
No, and that's your message, right? Peace is like, hey, we're all special. We all have, something. You know what? And my brain is on fire right now. So this is a conversation that we've had before about consciousness and about who we are, right? And that idea is that we all have a piece of the puzzle, right? And
totally.
and I mean, and totally. We all present them to each other, and there's some people who are like, yeah, you know what, I don't quite fit next to you, but I'm going to go over here, and we're still part of that same puzzle. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what you're talking about. I'm obsessed with this concept, and that's in our 4-piece school program for children. I'm going to show them how unique they are on a level that they cannot comprehend. Their vocal tone is the only person with the vocal tone out of 8 billion people in existence right now, and out of the trillions that have ever going to come on this planet. Their eye type has 297 unique aspects to their iris, sclera, canthus, every part of your eye, the collarette. Everything is unique about you, and your retina also. You can do a retina scan and you can get into the Pentagon. Your thumbprint is about 98 identifiable unique aspects. Your footprint, your thumbprint, your ear, your vocal tone. You are so unique. It is absolutely crazy. And every snowflake is unique and has a unique pattern. What does that tell you about you? We are all so important to the fabric of humanity, like you just said. And in hue men, and we're all different hues, but we're all chromosomal. We all have the same aging tendencies where the telomeres of our DNA will all unzip eventually. We can't keep our glue together, but we will all return to
Right.
stardust. We are all so unique. Everything's important, everything's brilliant, and everyone's a genius. I don't care if I was just sitting in the pool with people here in the hot tub talking about autism. Is the gentleman's son has autism, and they were discussing, we told about the 4-piece program, and I said, this precious little kid, and the dad's like, well, he's autistic. And I go, yeah, I love kids, man. And I just sat and talked about Mario Bros and his dreams and his goals, and his birthday's on August 9th, and it's my sister Shannon's birthday. And I was like, man, this is so crazy. We're having the best conversation, but think about how unique that one kid is with autism. And you think, okay, well, and he can remember every turn in this city, and every city he's ever been in Las Vegas. And he tells his dad, oh, it's a left turn, not a right. And he's never wrong.
Wow.
Right. That's just him tapping into part of his brain. It's so unique, right? He's like a literal GPS.
Right.
But, and he shouldn't be discarded. His worth is infinite, just like yours and just like mine.
Absolutely. And I talk about that all the time, about how they describe autism being on the spectrum, right? And I'm like, wait a second. If you're looking at the color spectrum, there's outside of the spectrum, you've got infrared and you've got ultraviolet, which are like, those are spectacular. Those are even more, powerful frequencies. So that's.
Well, far infrared's very healing, isn't it? There's clothing that I want to put in our clothing line. I want to start using far infrared technology for our shirts. We're going to start using. We're only. This is the tip of the iceberg, brother. Just the fact that we have this trademarked. We got the 1 billion for peace. We have our manifesto that just came out. The precursor for the manifesto was just released by Bodden and Bauer, our publishing company. I just got the phone with Valentine. Sorry, Valentine. She does a lot of the PR for Marriott. I was literally just minutes before this conversation. I got off with her. She's going to be taking Les Lowball, who wrote the Endangered Species Act, who also wrote our manifesto, 1 billion for peace. And she's going to have him on talk shows with me pretty soon. And I don't know if it's going to be Joe Rogan or who, but whatever, if I'm on you now, and that 2 weeks from now, it's going to be Joe Rogan, whatever.
That's awesome. I love it. Oh, I love it. That brings me even closer. That brings me even closer to Joe Rogan.
I'm telling you.
So
look at you do it right now. You're doing it. Joe Rogan's got nothing on you. He just got in the
brother.
game and doing his thing, man.
I love that. Thank you so much. Hat Pauser says, "You the whole puzzle and the puzzle in a piece." To paraphrase Rumi and bring up fractals, which I love. I love the fractal nature of being and all of that stuff. And cool. Janice is saying what you were saying about being unique. Even identical twins aren't identical. Yeah, and that's it. We're all unique. We're all here for a purpose. I mean, that's just like and what's so great about talking about those things is because I feel like those are the things that just changed my life. Not just saying them, but connecting to them and realizing them and being like, wait a second, it's not about like, oh, look at that guy. I want to be that guy. I can never be that guy. Right. But that guy can never be me. And
that's what Oprah said. I love Oprah for saying that. She's so blunt with that. She says, look, it's everything you just said. She said, look, I'm Oprah. Don't try to be Oprah. I'm already Oprah. Go be the best version of you, whatever that is. If it's finding treasure, go find the hidden treasure, the sunken whatever. Go find Atlantis. Go climb the mountain. Go do the discovery. Figure out quarks, the God particle. Smash particles at 1 billion miles an hour and find the super God particle. Go live on Mars. I don't know. Whatever. Don't try to be Oprah. And exactly what you're saying right now is exactly right. Totally. I mean, you can't make it up. You're totally right in what you're saying.
Yeah, I love that. And I should have had some visual materials ready because all the things I want to talk about. There's a guy who his name is David Shiremeyer. And he's doing these photographic experiments, visual experiments with frequency, right? So you've seen cymatics, right? Cymatics, right? So he's got these dishes of water. And he's got them on a speaker and he's vibrating at a certain frequency. And he's got a camera pointing straight down, right? So it's actually a video. And I was watching it the other day and I was telling Janice this. I felt like I was interacting with that visual, like it was a frequency. And I felt like I'm actually, it's seeing me and experiencing me as I'm experiencing it. That was just the weirdest feeling to have, man. I was like,
Water is something else. I don't know what water is. I mean, water is very mysterious for me. When I meditate, I love to be in water. I love to put Epsom salt in the bath. My wife will end up trying to demasculate, whatever that term is, whatever happened.
Right, right.
What happened in the Academy Awards when Will Smith went up and slapped somebody, if he was demasculated by his wife, whatever. If I take Epsom salt baths, my wife's like, well, did you shave your legs in there? And are you
Oh
gonna,
God.
right? I mean, she's just taking a nick out of me, right? But I
That's
take
funny.
sometimes like 5 hour Epsom salt baths, or I'll go out in the desert and I'll lay on the dirt for 12 hours.
No.
I'll just ask creation. I'll say, like, I am nothing. I consider myself the dust of the earth. I'm not movable and malleable to a great creator's words. I have enmity with great creation, but I do desire to be a great creator and co-create with, however you want to say, energy, source energy, deity. You put a label. I don't care what you want to say on it. But I don't think any of my ideas have actually been my ideas or any of my good ideas. If I've ever had a good idea, I don't think any of them are. I don't claim authorship of any of it personally.
Right. Right. And I know exactly what you're saying. And I'm going to explain that, just my point of view, to the audience. And that is the idea of channeling. Right. And,
That's right.
and I can remember 10 years ago, browsing through the internet and coming across a channeler who's talking to me on video in a third person voice about the Galactic Council, and I'm just like, that's a little out there for me. I don't really get that, right? And then years later, through experiencing it on different levels, meeting a channeler who was doing it, her name is Sarah Curley, and having an emotional response to what she was doing, right? So she was doing her thing, and I just started bawling. I was just like, what's going on here, And for me, and I love telling this story too. Forgive me for going on a tangent, but when you cry, that feeling, that emotion is a signifier of a very not a signifier. It's a symbol, or it's an indicator. An indicator. That's the word I'm looking for. Of a very significant moment. You are actually at that moment touching your soul, right? And the reason I say that is because it's a thought. Whatever the thought is that's in your head is actually physically manifesting itself as this feeling, this tightness in your throat, this actual liquid that starts coming out of your eyes. That's physical. That's not just an idea. That's an idea, a thought becoming physical. So again, to me,
physical
right.
manifestation.
Right. So to me, that anytime I react to something that it just makes me choke up and I get emotional, I'm like, I got to pay attention. Right. So it changed my whole perception of what channeling was, right? And I knew that this person wasn't making it up what they were doing. They were actually doing something, right? They were connecting to source in their own way. That's how they were expressing that connection.
Totally.
And it made me realize the moments in my life. I looked back on my life and I realized, like, when I was playing it in a band with my friends and I was just there in the basement playing music and we were connected through this invisible vibration, that was all channeling. That was all connecting to source and being in the moment purely.
Totally. You're right.
And
kids don't know how to do it. Kids know how to play. Kids know how to connect to trees and animals, and kids know how to do it. We forgot as adults how to play. We've forgotten. We have to be reminded of it. How you're talking right now.
Totally. And that's why I love that's kind of a movement now. People are encouraging people to do that, even just dancing or anything that where you let go. You don't concentrate too hard. Oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. You're just in that moment,
I'm telling you, that's transformational for me too. I was such a type A kid. I have to plan everything, plan. And some people say to me all the time, this is our 100 Dreams List idea, right? With the phone app that we now have, which is actually live. We have a live phone app now.
Phone app, what does it do?
6 years on this one, right? And I've been talking about it, and everyone's like, oh, sure, you're gonna have a phone app. But this app can help kids to literally, this is the app right here. So I don't know if I can
What's it called?
So it's called 4 Peace Schools, and this is it's Peace Life 4 Peace Schools. So it has 100 Dreams List on there, suicide hotline, the 4 pillars of peace, meditation links, And so when it gets into this, when you go into the 100 dreams list, you can literally go in to make 100 dreams yourself. Like I made my 100 dreams, and that's how it became a top male model as well as whatever. And you can choose from a list of things like climb Mount Everest, be in a
Wow.
rock band, like you're saying, clean up. There's like clean up space debris. There's about
I
1,000
love that.
options and choices. And as soon as you touch one of them, it goes straight to the top of your list and adds it automatically to your list. So
That's cool.
like, so climb Mount Everest, I just hit that one. So now it's climb Mount Everest is number one. You can literally have the kids when we do our 4-piece school show. Within 49 seconds, the app is downloaded on Apple or Android, and they're actually making their first 100 dreams list, their first 4 top goals of their life for the first time in their life, and tapping into their potential and making cognition and conscious what they want to achieve. And that's one of Oprah Winfrey's number one advice. I like to quote her on a few things. I like to quote Einstein, Oprah Winfrey, sometimes Mother Teresa, and I'm just quoting you now after you started up with this whole color palette thing.
Human.
Hues of man, the hues of man.
Yeah.
Style of man, the hues of man.
Very I see good. The gears working, they're spinning. I see it.
Huey News and the man. So it's like the hues of man. You've got it. So, but with this, it affords kids an opportunity to finally be focused in a way. And this is what Oprah said when asked, what's the most important thing you could do to be successful in life? And she said this very simple answer: one thing, know where you want to go, know what you want to do, and you can achieve it. If you don't know, you're just going to go in circles, right? It's just common sense, really, isn't it? So, but that's what I knew. I wanted to be a top male model, pole vault world champion, or a doctor. One of those 3 things. I studied to be a medical doctor at BYU, cadavers. I was memorizing all the origin insertions. Wow. It was just like all these like formaldehyde and cadavers. And I was like, okay, this is enough. I'm
going to just take that off the list.
I took it straight off the list. I was like, okay, I'm out.
That's all right. And that's okay. I want to say hi to Angeline. I see Angeline joining us. I did want to ask you something about this, and I'm going to hold you accountable to this. And it's okay if you took it off the list. But did I hear you correctly say that you wanted to honeymoon on the moon or something on the moon?
Space. Yeah, I wanted to be like so my idea was like, I want to be up in space looking at Earth. So it's like a honey Earth. I don't know. Is that like a new honey? It's like a honey Earth because you're on, if you're honeymoon, you're looking at the moon somewhere like Hawaii.
Honey Earth. So you want a honey Earth instead of honeymoon?
I was wanting to have a honey Earth.
Nice.
I was only 15, so it made sense to me, but it didn't.
Is that still on your list? Are you still thinking that's a possibility?
I'm game for it. I mean, my wife right now, we're married, but we had sort of a small honeymoon type thing because we were raising at that point 7 kids together.
Wow.
Or six collectively. So that was a bit of a tough one, and blending families, and we kind of got married on the sly because our kids all hated each other and hated me and hated
gosh.
High emotions and stuff. None of the kids wanted their parents to be divorced. And so, but now it's all simmered. It's 10 years later. But I don't know, Kelly, if you're out there, baby, I'm going to book a flight for us as soon as Peace Life hits our 2 million mark. We'll try and go up in the moon. Just not to be flippant, and sorry for
now you can do it.
Yeah, hopefully we plant enough trees of peace by then to mitigate the rocket. We'll just do the one that gets on, or we'll do the one where it goes into a centrifuge and they spit us into space. And that doesn't take any real fuel. That's the technology that's coming up. So we may just do the.
Oh wow! I've seen that, but that's not like public yet. They don't do that like regularly.
I think they're just doing like
experimenting
monkey trials right now or something like that.
I just
only noticed, a Reese monkey. I could do it for free.
Nice. I noticed. I don't know if you know this, but I guess you have an iPhone, or so you have the newer technology. So your iPhone recognizes your hand gestures.
Oh, does it? I do this. Yeah, I was noticing that, and it's like
so if you do a heart.
Oh, a heart. Okay, let me see if I can.
Can you do a heart?
I don't know if I can do that.
Come on, you can do it. No, you can do it.
I don't have to prop my phone up. Let me try and prop my phone up with a battery. I can do.
Yeah, because it's pretty cool. It does some cool things. Almost.
I'm doing a chimpanzee heart right now. I don't think I'm doing it.
More straight on. It's not recognizing. All right, give me 2 thumbs up like that.
2 thumbs up. Yeah.
That should do something. Maybe you're too close. I was doing it before. Like when you don't want it to do it, it does it.
I'll do like a stinky leg monkey dancing. 2 thumbs up.
I don't know. I'm not trying to. I'm not
I've
trying to
noticed
make
that.
it. I just get excited by that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to make you dance like a monkey.
That's all
Um,
good. And I got chicken dance I can do too.
a chicken dance.
No,
Well,
I mean, I aspire to be a good chicken dancer. I'm a break dancer. All I can do is flips and windmills and spin on my head and all that stuff. That's all.
an ex break dancer. Nice. My brother used to do that. He had his own piece of cardboard that he used to carry around with him.
I love it.
That's hysterical. So Stuart, I got to tell you, you are so much fun to talk to. I could keep going, but I don't want to take up much more of your time. I usually try to do this for an hour, and I just try to
Cool.
bring some light into the world with these conversations. Tim said earlier that I'm spot on. So I was talking about, just thinking positive and being light and aware of the energy that you bring. And he says it was you and Jesse in this show that opened his mind and gave him his epiphany moment. So thank you, Tim, for that. I know you must have had it before that, because I know you and I know you're a great guy, but I appreciate you even attaching me to that sentiment. So thank you. And thank you for always being there. Tim, by the way, was friends with Jesse, or is friends with Jesse, who was one of the original hosts of the show and has been watching ever since, from show number one. He's been here for like 2.5, 3 years, however long we've doing that. So kudos to Tim. Thank you so much for always being there.
Love it.
But again, so where can people find what you're doing with Peace Life?
Sure. So we have a website. It's at peacelife.shop. We didn't get the .com, but we got the .shop. So we got that popping.
Okay.
Also, Peacetribe _ had started off from years ago, and then we just sort of kept the following on Peacetribe _ for Peace Life. It sort of merged into a collective of a think tank for peace plus the fashion. So that's why we're trying to get 1 billion for peace, 1B for P. I will be walking barefoot with a guy we just met him. He was walking across from LA to Vegas, and he's going to New York barefoot. He's called the Barefoot. What's it called? The Barefoot Dutchman. And he's set a record, Book of World Records. He walked up to the base camp of Everest barefoot and got a record.
Wow.
He's walking. I'm going to be walking with him barefoot either tomorrow or the next day, 12 hours.
Awesome.
Yeah, to raise money for men's mental health. So it's like a hashtag. It's like Tough Men Talk, or what was it? I posted it on social media. It's Tough Men Talk or something like that, trying to bring awareness towards men.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that earlier. So I've got the Peace Life shop up on the bottom of the screen. So for you guys at home, one of the things that was so great about Stewart is when I went on live, he offered me something from his shop, and I've been wearing ever since. I don't have it next to me, but this great bomber jacket that has the 4-piece logo, and he's got some amazing merch. He's wearing the hat right now. Show the hat that you're wearing.
Broken arrow.
And the broken arrow symbolizes peace. And I'm gonna have to
now. Pirate stuff is 4 people. Like, you don't know. Nice. Is this Versace? Who knows? Is this like a Louis Vuitton? I don't know. No,
that's very cool. No, that's very cool.
Thank you.
I love it, and I encourage people to go to the shop and check it out, and I encourage people to try to catch you online on your lives, because maybe they'll win something, and I encourage people to go live. So that was something that I was talking to you earlier about. Jesse Howell does. Janice is saying brave men talk.
Brave men talk. Thank you. Yeah, that's right.
But something that Jesse Howell does is that open forum, right? And it's surprising that more people don't join, right? Because he's putting the link out there and everyone can join. And when you go live and you're like, hey, anyone come on, and no one's coming on, I'm like, what a great opportunity to just connect with another human being. Like, why would you not do that? It's just, it feels so good to do it. You know what I mean?
I agree. I love it, man.
Yeah.
It's like when you came on, I could tell your vibe was pure. I was like, oh, we got a good one here.
Yeah. And I mean, I hope that what Jesse's doing starts to take hold a little bit more. I've tried it. I've gone online and been like, hey, anyone want to come on? And it's like tough to get people to come on. But
I think people are afraid to be like, look how they look, or they don't feel that they look okay today, or their hair isn't right, or got a pimple, or they don't want to say something silly. But you know what, like how you're I feel very comfortable. I'm talking about, I had a death experience, and I saw my body, so clearly I feel comfortable talking to you.
Yeah.
And you know, you're not going to do anything that makes people feel funny or anything, and you know, I won't either. So, but I think that's the big fear. Public speaking is one of the big fears, isn't it? Or change is a
Yeah,
big.
absolutely. Absolutely. And again, it's so easy and it feels so good. And I feel like, again, I think that's why you do what you do. That's why I do what I do. I mean, I love when I saw that, I was like, man, that's what I want to do. Invite people on and, just like talk to anyone who wants to talk to me. Cause then it's like, you both want to be there, no one's there because they have to be there,
Totally.
I love that. That's great. I definitely want to have you back on the show because we didn't even get to talk about your connection with the Navajos and the indigenous spirit of the land that we live on. And I would love to talk to you more about that. I know that's a big part of your life and who you are. But before I put you back in the green room, do you have any? What do you have for me? What do you have for my audience? Something that enlighten us, make us feel good, raise our vibration.
Okay, so yeah, for me, really, like my biggest thing I like to do every day is, of course, I meditate, I pray, I do all that, and I try and do what I call like a good turn. I learned this in Boy Scouts of all things, and now Boy Scouts is not even a thing. But
Mhm.
I try and pick up trash, or I try and let somebody in traffic. If I see somebody they need to come in, I try and give
Mhm.
everyone space. You know, I
Mhm.
try and do like conscious little things like pick up trash, put in the receptacle. It's not my trash. I know it's not my trash. The universe knows it, but I just feel um, like a good villain, a villain for good. I don't know if that sounds
Oh, I
silly.
love that. Oh, I love that one. Yeah, that's a
Villain
good
for
one.
good. I'm just like no one can stop me from picking up trash. I'm like this evil villain for good, and I just feel like it just that sounds a funny spin on how it is, but I feel like I'm this powerful,
I
wicked,
love
evil
that.
villain for good. That's just no one's gonna stop me from stopping and helping someone on the side of the road if I can. I'm a man, and I can handle myself. I've trained in jujitsu, everything, so I'll stop. I'm not afraid to get carjacked or stabbed or whatever. But
Right.
I wouldn't
Right.
probably recommend most people helping someone on the side of the road anymore, because that's more of a funny thing. But you can pick up trash. You can open a door for someone.
That, I love that. That one is so simple. And what I love about that one is the idea of intention and changing the vibration, right? So
Yeah.
you look at a piece of trash, right? You could be
Yep.
like, oh man, you could get angry. Look at what somebody did. Or you could be like,
Right.
I'm gonna make this place better and pick it up and throw it
That's
out
it.
and just feel good about it. You know what I mean?
Good
And it's
option.
like
Yeah. Very
that
good option.
whole interaction is amazing. And it's so simple,
Yeah.
right? How come people can't figure this out? How come people can't figure this stuff out?
I don't know. It's a good point. Why do we have to cut each other off in traffic and then only end up at the red light, looking at each other and being like, now I hate you and I hate you, and if I've got a gun, I might shoot your tires out. I mean, it just gets to be funny over what? Come on, man. I mean, your car's faster, my car's faster. Who cares? It goes down to like we're all trying to get home, and if we can pick up trash, let someone in traffic, smile at somebody, even just saying like if I see, I mean, this sounds flirtatious, but if I see someone with really cool pants and at the store, even I'll just say, hey, I love
Mhm.
your pants. I'm not saying a girl. I'm not saying a guy. I'm not hitting on
Mhm.
girls. I'm not hitting on guys. It's just human, right? I'm just saying, hey, I love your pants, and
That's
I'll
it.
just say, or I love your shirt, or because a lot of people have shirts on that say,
That's it.
statements or something, or rock bands or whatever, and just say something nice, smile at people. That for me, I make my own day, I guess. But then people like you also make my day, and I do get
Right.
that back. How you're saying, like I'm sure you feel that from your audience. Live stream of consciousness.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. I started doing this for no other reason than I was enjoying it. And then when people started to respond and reach out to me and say, oh, you did this and it affected me in this way, I was like, wow, like, and it just, it made sense to me. But the idea of, every choice you make is an opportunity to create a ripple, right? And a good one,
Totally. Oh, brother,
and-
totally, totally.
mm,
There's an
yeah,
infinite capacity for that, and as
yeah.
many, thought is the highest level of vibration, right? You can read the book Power versus Force. You can see shame as the lowest level of vibration. So I came from a
Mhm,
family where very much shamed. If you didn't go to church, you didn't have faith enough.
mhm,
If you had a fever of
mhm.
104, you should have had more faith in Jesus. Where you should have gone to church and had the faith, you'd have been healed. Whatever, right?
Right,
That was kind of a shaming mechanism that didn't really work very well. So, but
right.
but as you climb up there, thought and love and peace and peace mindedness These are higher levels of vibration, but thought is the highest level of vibration. If you take a piece of wood and you vibrate it, it'll catch on fire. If you take a piece of metal, it'll heat up, catch on fire. Thought is the highest level of vibration. It's the highest level of creation. So when you have conscious, concerted thought, you are going to create. It's not a matter of if, it's when this happens. And it's not if 1 billion people will come on for peace. I swear, and I promise you on this show, 1 billion people will know peace is mightier than war, love conquers hate, and faith is mightier than fear. By the time Stewart Marriott is done in this realm, this will happen, and this will be the new peace symbol. 100 nations out there, or 1 billion people will, and then we'll open up. Our trademark will be for anyone, all nonprofits. You can use it as long as it's for not profit, and we will honor the North American indigenous who had used this as a peace symbol. And that's going to happen. If it doesn't happen until I'm 100, I'll live to 120 if I have to. I'll just cleanse. I know how to do it. I know how to cure myself of asthma. I cure myself of skin cancer already. So I know this sounds crazy to certain people, but I will do it. And mark my words. Say I'm going to do it. I'm tenacious as a mother when it comes to that. I will never stop.
I love it. Listen, I love your tenacity. I love your vibration. I love your love. And I love you, man. I love you, brother. You're just amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm just going to say goodbye to my audience. Let me put you in the green room and don't go anywhere, because I want to talk to you.
Be with you, man. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, we got to talk more about this humanity idea. So, all right, I'll talk to you in a little bit.
You created it.
We did.
Well, we did, I guess. Yeah. Cheers, buddy.
All right, I'll talk to you soon. Oh man, wow. Hold on a second, guys. Or actually, nope. We got to do this with me, right? Let's decompress from that amazing blast of energy we got. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. You can feel it even just in one. When you do a bunch of them in succession, you immediately can feel the calmness. It's amazing. Let's do one more. Guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being with me. The live stream of consciousness. I love the community that you guys have created with me and the way you guys make me feel. Hat Powser, inviting shows and sharing it. And I love it. Thank you all for being here. I will hold on. Let me pop open my calendar real quick and tell you that next week, I've got Josh Battlestrong coming back. So I don't know if you guys remember Battlestrong, but also, again, just another human being that you have a conversation with and you can't help but feeling good. The conversation is always about making yourself better, making the world a better place, how you make other people feel, all the important stuff. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you as always. Peace out.
What is consciousness? The live stream of consciousness is on a quest to unravel the mysteries of existence. Every episode, we ask the fundamental question that has captivated human minds for centuries. Is consciousness merely a product of our brains, or does it connect us to something greater? Explore the very fabric of our thoughts. Don't miss a moment. Expand your awareness and tap into the boundless potential that resides within you. Welcome to the live stream of consciousness.